Thank you, Madhuri. Um, Good afternoon, everyone. This is a very exciting session as we're going to talk about deep tech, close to my heart. And I think we are doing a lot of work at IvyCap, also building our thesis. And hopefully, we'll announce some more deals in deep tech. But I can, first I'd love to start with your intro and what you do and what your company is doing, and then I'll get into questions.
Okay, so ZestIoT is into aviation space where we started our journey. And today we have the vision of connecting people, places, assets, and operation. And with that, we empower the aviation industry to make sure all of us have our flight departing on time. And for that, we use a lot of tech around IoT to camera, video analytics to various data and processing the systems in real time and making sure that every person on the ground who is working behind the scene is able to get the real-time information and with that able to take the right decisions, make sure that resources for the organization are working effectively. And as a result, every flight is like a critical path having multiple activities happening in the same time. For that, making sure that the right decisions are leading to every flight departing on time. That's where we have built that technology since last 5-6 years. And today we have taken the technology, thanks to COVID, outside of aviation into oil and gas, manufacturing, and food and beverages space. And just as a landscape, to give you an idea, the largest implementation of our technology is in India, though we are working with Europe as well as Middle East, US customers. But in India, where we started with this idea, today it is empowering every day 700 flights managed by 9,000 manpower across Bangalore and Delhi airport with 6,000 motorable equipments. And that kind of complexity, entire end-to-end tech space to the digitization to the processes, making sure that every decision around the turnaround of the flight is enabling on-time departure. And it is serving Air India, Vistara, as well as a lot of international airlines like Emirates. That's what we do each day.
Thank you.
So we're YelloSkye. We've started off and successfully built, as Madhuri was saying, a aerial intelligence company. We capture data with drones, and we do some very interesting analytics out of that visual data, which provides value to our B2B customers. From a vision perspective, we want to become India's drone largest airline, and while we go along that path, data, which we have right from the first mission that we flew, we still have it today. We are also going to become a data company with respect to deriving that much more analytics for the industry that we are in. From just a quick overview on our business, we used to fly about 4 missions, as we call them, pre-COVID. Every month, today we are flying 4 a day. We are doing about 100 flights a month and aspirations to have multiples of that.
Thank you. Yeah. What's up?
Hey, everyone. This is Utsav from GMetri. We're an enterprise-focused SaaS platform that allows a lot of large companies around the world like PayPal, Amazon, Bosch, Diageo, Ab&Bev create immersive experiences very easily. We have been referred to as the Canva of the metaverse, so it's a really simple platform that makes it easy to create immersive content. And today we're very glad to say that over 25,000-30,000 experiences have been built on our platform. Primarily, we look at the US and India as our target markets. And over there, we've been focusing on use cases like employee onboarding, learning and development training, sales training, to just name a few of the areas where we come in. So that's pretty much what we do.
Tamanna?
Hi, everyone. This is Tamanna. I'm the founder of Convosight. So at Convosight, we are creating a world where brands and consumers will coexist in spaces called communities. So think of us as enabling access into a section of the internet called communities, which is Facebook groups, WhatsApp, Telegram, Reddit, etc., where earlier there was no access possible. It has taken us over 3 years to build this massive aggregated distribution of communities where consumers come together organically to talk about things they deeply care about. It could be hiking, biking, breastfeeding, investing. we have access to 100,000 communities with 950 million duplicated reach. And we help brands. So today we are working with about 170 brands, primarily in India, but also in Singapore and US, to help access these communities, get insights from billions of conversation. And I think we're the only unique sort of company out here who didn't start with the long gestation period and building deep tech first. We commercialized first, basis prototyping. And really this year, in the last 12 months, we've now invested in deep tech, and I'll share more later. But we enable brands to get insights like they never had access to before, and then also market into these communities.
Thank you, Tamanna. A lot of data points there, we'll cover it. So Amit, I'll start with you, I think, and just picking up from what Tamanna said. You know, building the IP, generally in deep tech companies, we see that it takes a time to build IP, gestation period is high, and then you lead to commercialization. So how did it happen at ZestIoT, and your thoughts around it will be great. Yeah.
That's a very interesting one. I think we had our own share of how we went about discovering of what is the IP and how to build the right tech to make it useful for the industry. So when we started this, and I didn't have, by the way, any aviation experience, and I built tech to track kids because safety was one of the key aspects in that. And then one day somebody called up from Air India and said that, hey, I have problem around the moment aircraft comes and we are not able to track. Can your IoT tech can be used for that? And that was like very interesting thing to hear, because that's a very interesting problem to solve when you hear this from somebody from operation. So from that perspective, we invested a lot of time and effort in hardware sensors. First, initially, we built the hardware because we didn't find anything. Then later, we started building the ecosystem around that. Then we added camera, video analytics. Then we added a lot of other systems and the data from there. And just from where no data around the operations available, to today, for every flight, we generate 100+ data points. And that has come over a period of 6 years. And that kind of IP, building that IP with discovery of the process as well as the problem, as well as so many parties working together or may not be working together in an aviation space, was a very, very different kind of, let's say, journey for us, a lot of ups and downs in that space. But the moment data started coming, and one of the customer, when he saw, he said, okay, brilliant, now I can see. But my chairman doesn't give me the money to buy geeky gadgets. And that was like a very hitting statement for us. And for 1 week, I could not even sleep because it was hitting that after putting so much of effort, you have best of the tech, but that tech has got no value. How to monetize that? And I think that's where the discovery of how to use it effectively for solving customer problem, and bit by bit, byte by byte. Today, just to give you an idea, we enable 20+ roles within the aviation across 5 different type of customers, which are airlines, airports, ground handler, catering, and fueling company. And within that, multiple departments. And every one of them is a user or a customer. And when we see the power of how they use this information and the way we build the user experiences around that, and we're driving efficiencies and innovation. And just to give you some context of that, Indian customer wrote more than $1 million check.
Wow. Congratulations.
And we delivered them ROI in less than 6 months. Was the power how we discovered through the journey as a part of our experience.
That's amazing, I mean, to deliver that. So congratulations. And switching from, aeroplanes to drones, how was the journey for you? And there's a lot of noise on drones also. So if you can reflect on that, it'll be good.
Let me start with that, and then we'll come to the commercialization of the data and the IP related to that. But you're right, there is a lot of noise on drones. We very often come across clients, though it's less nowadays compared to in the past. I don't know, it's just a gimmick, or how are you going to give ROI and value to me? But the good news is that because of the buzz, clients are interested in figuring out how you're doing it for my peers or my clients. So doors open for the meetings. It's not that you run into closed doors and you can't open them. You do get the meetings and then you have to actually close it. But it is an effort. You have to do it step by step, client by client. We're trying to do some marketing efforts to debunk some of the stuff, but it is an effort to sort of navigate through the noise and actually show the effort and the outcomes that would give ROIs to our clients. On the initial question about the commercialization of IP, Kush, my co-founder, is here in the audience, and myself. We had a vision from day one that data is valuable. It is our IP. While we'll build IP around operations and expertise and accuracy and outcomes, and with that vision from day one, each and every visual data that we have collected has not been deleted. It is with us. We have over 35 terabytes of data. We believe we'll get 200 terabytes of contextual data. Just as you were saying, it is contextual data to that industry which nobody has. Because nobody is storing that data. They still use USBs and Google Drives to save money. And there is a cost to storing data. So that's point number one. You have to invest in that cost with respect to collecting and storing the data. Second, how do you build IP? It has to be something which the client is willing to pay for. We are still on a discovery phase. I wouldn't say that we are at a stage where we've got some models which the client is willing to pay for, but we have a vision as to what they'll be. To start with, the most simplest, it's a very simple thing, but it's very difficult to do as you get more and more data, is you have to have the data searchable. If you could not, if Google did not have a search engine, all of us would be in some stupid amount of trouble. Okay, but that's because they've contextualized that search, and ChatGPT is taking it to another level. We're not at the ChatGPT stage, but we have, by this month or next month, we will be rolling out an ability to search each and every piece of data, and that's at a client level, including them being able to tag it, which will help us in our AI and ML that we want to do with respect to models. So my point is, it's a journey. We have not yet reached a stage where we have monetized it, but you have to take those steps and those investments with respect to getting to the other side of the journey. We're lucky in the sense that we are revenue-based, we are commercializing our current operations, so we have money to invest back into the data. But imagine if I was a person who said, you know what, I'm just going to fly my drones, I'm going to collect the data, I'm not going to charge any money, but it's going to take me 5 years to commercialize. So that's not the way we are operating. I don't think this market or investors or clients also would go down that road. But I think for me, the key thing is identify the IP, have an approach, take the steps to reach there. You will need investment, whether it's an external investor, your own investment, but it is a journey.
Thank you. And I think between both of you, there'll be so much cross-pollination of data, which will be very interesting. And as it builds, there'll be more things that will come out of it. I'll first go to Tamanna and then come to you. So Tamanna, you said we did commercialization first, then IP came. If you can talk a little bit more about that, and what's so interesting about your company, because I keep hearing, and it's so fascinating, right? So you have so much, in-depth knowledge for marketers. So I'd love to hear that.
Sure. So I think for us, our first problem to solve was we identified, like I said, that there is a huge space on the internet which is currently not tapped into, where consumers are hanging out. So first thing was to build data access. Like, how will we even access that and aggregate that? So that's what we solved for with tech, not deep tech, just tech. How will we get access to billions of people in Facebook groups, Reddit, etc.? How do we get access to that data and conversations? So first we cracked that. The next thing for us was to figure out that it's intuitive to us that there would be a need to access these conversations, get insights, and get to these audiences, but we had to get the proof and get to PMF through revenue. Yeah. So that's what we did. We started speaking to really large brands. So we work with like the HULs and the P&Gs and Nestle's. So very, very large enterprises. And we told them that, look, you guys spend billions of dollars in digital marketing. Do you know there is a space you don't have access to? And we can get you access to that space. So how you shared with you couldn't sleep when you couldn't figure out commercialization. I couldn't, for the life of me, fathom that they did not even know that this massive scale of people exist, conversations exist. So that was the problem first to crack for us, which is what we did. We started commercializing simple prototypes, just working even on thousands of conversations. figuring out, so let's take diabetes. Within diabetes, what do people talk about in diabetic communities? Do they even want to look for proactive treatment, or do they want to look for treatment only after they've been diagnosed with diabetes or something hits them? So again, just thousands of conversations, Excel models, keyword-based models, and we started commercializing it. Now, we hit a wall when we reached the scale of about 500 million conversations. Speed became very slow. Context became very important. I'll take an example. Oil could be cooking oil or massage oil. So now, it was important to figure out context and accuracy. So when we started hitting these issues, we knew that this will not let us grow, and that's when we started thinking about deep tech. I also want to make a point here. It's very important to have a deep tech expert on the team. So, Rohit, our CTO, is here. I don't think we could have, I didn't know how to go about it. My background's not tech, although my undergrad is in tech. So it's really important to have that person who can take that business vision and convert it, into a product which you can commercialize. So what we've now done is, just fast forwarding, we've been investing it since last 15 months or so. We can now process billions of conversations. So again, I don't want to use everyone says Google-like, but Google enables us to crawl and search within microseconds. We have the ability to crawl billions of conversations and get insights under 10 seconds. We are the only platform globally that has the ability to do this, and it's a proprietary indexing algorithm that we've built. If we have the ability to do that, now think of commercialization, the use cases. What does this mean? This means if today, whether you're a parachute or you're a Hero Vida, I'm able to tell you what are the best communities to tap into or market into basis conversations with high accuracy and speed. I'm then able to get the best insights because my pool of conversations that I get insights from is super relevant. We've also now started investing in the last 6 months on visual aspects of it, which means visual insights. And it's some really, so for example, we'll be able to tell if it's a dosa or a Subway sandwich, and if the dosa would get a 30% higher engagement. Because the world of internet is all about engagement. So it's some really, really interesting stuff that we've been able to do, but I don't think we would have been able to do that if we didn't have the data access moat and we had not commercialized.
Awesome. Great points there. And Ravi sir is here in audience. I think he will resonate very well. So Utsav, coming to you, I think you found a lot of success in US eventually and took some time, and I've seen your journey. Now that people are understanding the value you're creating. So if you can talk about same IP plus commercialization.
Yeah, I mean, for us, Tej, like you said, I mean, these two have gone pretty much hand in hand, right? Because what happens in our domain, like when we talk about the metaverse, we talk about the immersive web, it is still growing, right? These are not dedicated categories of spending for the enterprises right now. Let's take, the initial part of our journey. At that time, while the platform that we had built was pretty horizontal in being able to deal a lot of use cases, right? So the platform was always built to take multiple use cases. But at that time, the market was that small that we had to do a little bit of everything. But now, as it's maturing, right, between then and now, as we're growing, the market's also focusing on these few use cases where we've realized that there's recurring revenue, right? So there's employee onboarding, there's learning and development, where there's a high degree of stickiness, right? And where these immersive modules or these immersive worlds are able to provide very solid ROI in currently measurable terms, right? So those became extremely important for us. And I think we've been hearing some great things about, you want to be just an inch wide but a mile deep. And I think those things also have a variable of the actual market itself, right? Because this market has been growing and now has come to a place where, it's gone to a certain degree of evolution. And when it comes to the US and India, right, whenever you come to a platform, software platform like ours, of course, it's more conducive. Most of our growth is in the US. Most of our new conversations that we're having are within that market for sure. As far as commercialization is concerned, just picking a few things from the previous session as well, we're working with several large partners. You need that one big partner, because it's emerging tech, you need trust and reliability. So SAP, for example, we're on the SAP store right now as a listing. So you carry that trust of that partner forward with this really cool new feature that brings that total thing forward, right? And that's been an interesting way for us to grow. And of course, being physically present in that new geography definitely has a large impact on the way we're able to sell, monetize, and grow that entire thing as well. So I think, yeah, it's been very interesting, but the IP and commercialization are going hand in hand, because today I'm building a lot of pieces of the software around the actual industry use cases, right? Which are very deep, and that moat is growing very specifically towards that. So I think it's also a factor of the market itself in terms of where you're going.
That's a great point, and I think it'll keep evolving as you find new partners.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Amit, coming back, for you, you just said you're already expanding into other verticals other than tracking planes. So if you can talk about that, and in India, in particular, you're working with some more clients. Where's the company? How do you see this 5 year out? How many verticals like that could you create?
Yeah, I think that is very, very difficult question right now today for us, where to go and what all industry to serve. But when the COVID happened, we discovered a lot of use cases across oil and gas and manufacturing. And that's where we discovered a lot of opportunity. And then food and beverages also came as a result of that. So what we decided is we will not go beyond these 3 sectors right now, because our USP we have discovered in a very interesting way is solve problem around certain themes for these businesses. And all of these businesses are very large. And as an example, we have won one of the largest PSU, Hindustan Petroleum Corporation, tender for 80+ locations across India. And LPG plants is one of their businesses where we have entirely digitized using camera, AI-based solution. And today, anything from safety, security to assets counting, monitoring, resource utilization, optimization, our technology is empowering. And to give you an example, when the cylinders are filled with the gas, there was no way for headquarters to check how effectively the plants are running and how safe are the operations. Because a pin valve, when it is damaged, it can lead to immediately 15 kg of gas immediately coming out in 2 seconds. And that entire environment can be very dangerous. So today, I'm glad to say that our technology is empowering to create that visibility without any manual intervention. And like this, when we take this technology to customers, one of the customers said that, can you use this camera and put it in front of a locomotive which is carrying 1800-degree hot metal into a steel plant? Wow. Because driver is on the engine side, he cannot see the track. And then there could be people, and unfortunately one person died. And they said that, can you use this and connect IoT and sensors and build something to create a visualization and do anti-collision? And I'm glad to say that we are the first company who have done this for General Steel, and anti-collision braking of the locomotive applying this technology. Wow. We have deployed, and it has become one of the, let's say, state-of-the-art digitization project within the JSW group in the last year, which has been done successfully. So like this, I see many such examples, and there's one more we are doing today. It will come very soon. For one of the oil and gas company, every cylinder filled with the gas, having a unique QR code, and that going in the hand of the consumer, and consumer is able to digitally track and trace that this cylinder was filled on so and so date with this much of weight of the gas, and it has come to my doorstep, and I can see the seal intact, and I can verify it. So that's a technology in the background we are empowering through this kind of initiative, so that pure for sure vision for that customer to entire consumers within India can be realized. So give you an example, we see a lot of power and opportunity in that space. And our vision is to build deep tech oriented platform, enable as many use cases in these industries in a cost effective manner. And we tell it to our customers that deliver definitive ROI by connecting people, places, assets, operation to deliver transformation to your business objectives in these industries.
Awesome. Sounds fascinating, actually. Music to my ears, actually. Kiran, I know just just to take that, I know you also tried various vertical and commercialization, right? So are there ones which are sticking, in which you want to scale more, where is heading basically?
Yeah. So from a commercialization scale, etc., we, as you said, we tried different things, but I think we've come to the conclusion that what we started with, which is the infrastructure industry, is still one of the most ripe opportunities that is there out there, because they just do not have data. They have never ever digitized either the land itself or the build out of the asset or what sales efforts they're doing or even inspection after the asset is completed. So while we are getting some crazy amount of data by project, by type of business, etc., there is no historical data out there. Now, the way we think about this, coming back to the point of commercialization IP, which you mentioned a little bit earlier, I'll start at a 10,000 feet level, and I am a big cricket lover, and for all you cricket lovers out there, please don't curse me at lunchtime or after or now, but you cannot play cricket with a data strategy. You cannot wait for the ball to come to you and then try to hit it, and after you hit it, somebody else is running after the ball to try and reduce the runs. You have to play football. Yeah. You have to know where the ball is going to be, and you have to start going towards that. You have to start going to that space, and hopefully you'll be there before the ball reaches there, and then you'll be able to hit a goal most probably. So similarly, while we have started with whatever I explained earlier on operations, revenue, etc., data is going to require an investment. We know where we want to be, and coming back to a minutia level, we want to reach a stage where if I'm, and I am today getting 1,000, 5,000 columns, I'm capturing the visuals, I'm capturing steel bars, I'm capturing so much information with relating to an asset, and they're all similar across assets to at least 70, 80% of the level. So one is just defects, snags, issues, whatever you want to call it. But imagine a stage where we have enough data where I come from Goldman, so I have this mindset of an index. But I can say that, you know what, if you're building a 10-story building with this square foot space, this is the amount of average time it should take, and that's your industry average. And then now you can start mapping or tracking actual execution to an industry average. That doesn't exist today in this industry. So it's a very, very sort of powerful thing to have, because you have data, and how do you create an index out of it? Not very difficult to do if you have the data, but then you need the industry to adopt it. So this is a journey, as I keep saying again and again, and it's a step-by-step journey, but it does need investment, it does need money, and it needs patience.
Oh, totally agree, but looks like heading in the right direction, so that's important. So Tamanna, just, as you were mentioning, the brands have realized the value, I guess, of what you bring to table. So where is it heading, and heading in terms of, with this, new person who has joined, and with the DeepTech, and, so what's the next thing that you're targeting?
Sure. So I think I'm just going to zoom out, right? The world before, in terms of brands and consumers, was brands coming up with the best communication strategy and then putting it in an ad tech platform and going in broadcasting. So lots of balconies existed for digital marketing and insights, whether it's Facebook ads, whether it's Instagram, etc. I think really how last few years we've evolved, whether it's content, whether it's products, it's moving more towards creators and individuals. I'm sure all of us now buy products from a individual who we know, who has just come up with a D2C brand. Similarly, content. So the job that brands have to do is they have to think of these creators, individuals, admins and communities as their feet on street to take the message to the end consumers. So I think in the next few years, this will become more and more prevalent. Today, there's 50,000 crores just in India in digital marketing. Of that, 10 to 15% is spent on creators, communities. This will only become larger just because there is that inherent trust, that comes in when the message is carried through by an individual. Now, where Convosight fits in all of this, currently we're uber focused on communities or spaces where consumers are talking to each other, and various use cases of this deep tech in selection of these cohorts, in getting insights, in getting more predictive sort of recommendations on one kind of content to post. But I think from our standpoint, expanding this beyond communities to other creator spaces as well, so that it's a win-win on both ends. The content that you're seeing on, as a consumer, which is coming even from a creator, is super relevant. Yeah. And it's like bringing trust back. And those are the use cases. And I think there's so many use cases to solve. So it's hard to pick which ones.
Yeah. No, I was at a cricket match actually and saw a lot of creators creating a lot of content around brands. So that's another whole segment that's coming up, which is very exciting. So Utsav, yeah, what's next for you? And I know you've gone to US, you spend a lot of time there now. So yeah, what's happening?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting domain. It's an interesting, place to kind of grow something, a product like ours as well. But I think, as we were talking about building IP earlier, as anybody building IP around the world, I think one of the things that has changed over the last year or so is AI, right? And I think the way that this wave that was started by ChatGPT and OpenAI and then basically came out, the way that they have democratized AI in a way that is integratable into any product has changed almost everybody's roadmap, especially if you're looking at something that's consumer facing or creators coming in and creating content, which is a very important part of our business as well. For us, it's very important for the creators to come in and start creating immersive worlds, and how can we leverage this technology to be able to build that? I think that entire dynamic just changed, and I believe it's not just our business, but so many other businesses that would have had that as well. Specifically because I believe very strongly in this democratization, right? I mean, at GMetri, our eventual goal is democratizing this technology so anybody can create immersive, right? And I think we already saw the power of that with AI, and hopefully we can pull that through with the metaverse and immersive as well.
Thank you. I think we are right on time. I'm very excited by listening to this today. And there's so many more opportunities that are up your way. So we'll be watching you guys as you expand, and good luck, and thanks for coming. I'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.